So Ron Johnson, who we affectionately refer to as the stupidest man in the Senate, with no disrespect to Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
But Tuberville's there because he was a football coach. Like, Ron Johnson's just a politician.
Well, Ron Johnson, to be fair, is an esteemed businessman who managed to negotiate with, I think, his father-in-law and became a businessman. Tommy Tuberville is probably the stupidest one there now, although it would be interesting to see like a debate between the two of them or something.
American trivia contest.
And exactly. Louis Gomer can be the moderator. But like, I mean, Ron Johnson is supposed to not be running again. Like, do we remember this?
Oh, they always lie.
Yeah, I know, but like that maybe should be used against him.
So here is Ron Johnson's ad that they had to pull. Did they have to pull?
It never aired.
They never paired. Right. Okay. But they pulled it from, it was at the radio stations, and they were scheduled to play it. They had to pull it off of the stations. This is according to Ken Klippenstein's reporting, and he secured this the ad. And was this? Did he pull it in the wake of Uvalde, or like which mass shooting, or was it?
It was after the Highland Park shooting. So
yeah, sometimes it's hard to know what they're reacting to in terms of mass shootings because there's so many mass shootings.
I mean, that's a good point. Is like he thought it was long enough post Uvalde to release this ad, and the only problem was Highland Park.
Right. The only problem was that we average 2 mass shootings a day in this country, so it's hard to like navigate that minefield when there's a mine every step.
But here he is with the real threat to this country.
The latest mass murder in America didn't involve guns. 53 people, including 5 children, were murdered by human traffickers because Joe Biden's open border policy is facilitating the multi-billion-dollar business model of some of the most evil people on the planet. Human, sex, and drug trafficking are out of control because of Democrat governance. They have to be stopped. I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ron Johnson for Senate, Inc.
Whoops.
Okay, to be clear, he is talking, I believe, about the immigrants who were smuggled in via a tractor trailer, and I believe that was in Texas they were found, right?
Yeah, they had basically suffocated and overheated in the back of this tractor trailer, which is why, like, it kind of undercuts the fact that it's an open border policy when people have to be smuggled into the country in the back of a truck.
I mean, it's a complete contradiction, and they do this all the time when we talk about immigration. The idea of like the apprehensions prove that their border policy is failing. Now, I would argue, yes, that actually is some indication of a failed border policy because we shouldn't be having those apprehensions.
Yep.
We should have a system for people that they can go through to become citizens. And we should never have immigrants dying, whether it's crossing the desert or whether it's dying in suffocating in a tractor trailer in what I can only imagine was one of the most horrific possible ways to die. And there were survivors. And I don't know which is more horrific, having survived that and witnessing that or being one of those people who died. But the answer is something far closer to a, so-called open border policy than to force people to be smuggled in there. I mean, we could process all those people. We could have a system where people could get in literally in line and walk up to border crossing and get processed. But they don't want that. So it's like incredibly disingenuous. It's also incredibly cynical. Yeah. And then poorly timed because
of the stupidity.
We had another mass killing.
Because maybe like a good idea, but Ron Johnson's so dumb, so maybe his campaign and him don't think of this. Like, if your ad is being pre-recorded, it probably and says the latest massacre is not a mass shooting. The shelf life on that is going to be what? 48 hours? 72 hours? max a week for this radio spot. So just strategically, it's not the right way to go.
And to anybody convinced by the faux populism of the people who are exploiting these migrants, the idea that the Trump border policy was tough on those business owners who exploit illegal immigration is just ridiculous. It turned ICE into actually goons for those exact bosses to go to those exploited employees and say, hey, if you don't do exactly what I want, I'll call the government's ICE and they'll come boot you back to Mexico. The way to actually go at those business owners is to, like Sam said, get these people in the system so they can't undercut wages.
Without a doubt.
And that's why that has relevance for somebody in Wisconsin, right? Because they're not along the border. It's really just about giving bosses more power if they have immigrants that come up.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. They want this system where people have to be essentially in the black market.
Yes. I mean, it's the same thing that we saw with Greg Abbott saying that maybe we should go to the Supreme Court and challenge the court case that forced public schools to educate children of undocumented immigrants if they live in that community. They want a permanent underclass that they can exploit at any which way, and that's what this is all designed to do.